and it's impossible for law-abiding citizens to survive.
The next question is, where in the world do you really think Obama, comes from or lives? Or, he was born from?
You know what? It doesn't matter what I think. You can see official transcripts of May, I think it was May or March, I think it was March session of the Parliament of Kenya, where James Orengo, Minister of Lands, stood up and said, he was talking about United States, and he said, well, United States has diversity, and how else a man who was born right here in Kenya, not even a native-born citizen, could become the president? They're openly saying that he was born in Kenya. And the fact that our judges are refusing to hear the cases on the merits and attacking attorneys, constitutional attorneys, is despicable. Those judges should be prosecuted.
How much evidence do you have?
All the evidence is necessary. What else do you need? I have evidence showing that he's committing crime after crime using multiple stolen Social Security numbers, doesn't even have a valid Social Security number of his own, doesn't have a long-form birth certificate, committed fraud, election fraud, voter fraud, voter registration fraud, you name it. You will be hard-pressed to find fraud that he didn't commit. And it just tells you, again, how corrupt is the system. And I think people need to stand up and start working very hard if they want this country to become a new Nazi Germany, because that's what it's becoming. When patriots like Ron Paul, like Sarah Palin, like Rush are being persecuted, and criminals at the top levels of power, you have something similar to Stalinist Russia and Nazi Germany. And, law-abiding citizens can start making citizen arrests of criminals. People can file contests of elections, each and every election, and demand to see all the ballots. In California, I checked, there's something like 1.7 million ballots that were not counted. They're not checking the driver's licenses. Anybody can cross the border with Mexico today and vote in California because they don't check anything. A person can be voting, the same person, in 50 states simultaneously, or doing it by mail. Nobody is checking. We have the level of corruption that this country has never known, the world has never known. And if we don't stop it, this country is just going down the drain.
Yeah. Anyways, whenever I went to a site where you can check, I'm not going to say which because it could be targeted at any time, I checked many records, and a lot of death records had the name Barack Obama. It's like he was from many different states, and it's just it makes me wonder. And then it's just, how many Social Security numbers did he use?
Well, I have information showing 39 different Social Security numbers in national databases. And I have not found any other Barack Hussein Obama citizen of this country.
Oh, yeah, and what did you think about this World News Daily article where a college instructor who worked as senior elections clerk...
Well, yeah, I know. His name is Tim Adams. I did contact him. Well, I have to say, though, I emailed him twice. I called him, and a number of my supporters emailed him and called him and asked to put his statement in an affidavit, sworn affidavit under penalty of perjury, and he never did it. So I have my doubts. When a person makes a statement, but he refuses to make the statement under oath, that makes it suspicious.
It could be a disinformation troll.
Maybe. That's possible.
All right, so thanks for bringing that out. Anyways, the next question is, what is your view on like during the G20 summit, the police that were on Obama's side were abusing and torturing men, women, and children, protesters in Canada. They were like going around charging at them and murdering this newspaper boy.
Well, I mean, it's terrible. What decent person might say anything different, but this is awful. God forbid something like this happening here. What can I say?
Yeah. What do you think about people that are following Obama are now being put in the top Supreme Court, which, decides whether laws are constitutional or not?
Currently we have nomination of Elena Kagan, and as I was submitting documents to Supreme Court, I actually forwarded to her documents showing that Obama used multiple Social Security numbers, and she just covered it up. She had a duty to speak up. She is the Solicitor General, meaning top advocate for the United States of America, for us, for the citizens of the country, for our laws. She saw that he flagrantly is violating each and every law in the book, and she was silent. She covered it up, and I'm wondering if this nomination is quid pro quo, meaning, you do this for me, I'll do that for you. It's horrible. And I have to tell you, I forwarded this information. My supporters have forwarded this to a number of senators, but nothing happened.
That's terrible. And if there's a chance that Kagan does get put in, this will mean that the entire federal government will be under the control of a madman.
Well, and that's why people need to start standing up and demanding action. Just recently, I saw a footage of a TV program, news program, which was shot live, and somebody just, as the reporter was speaking, somebody just came to the microphone and yelled at the microphone, Obama is not illegal. He doesn't have a long-form birth certificate. And you know what? We need to keep our media accountable each and every time there is anything that they are doing. You see media, you see them recording anything or transmitting anything live, go there and shout. And talk about it. The fact that Obama doesn't have a valid Social Security number of his own, doesn't have a valid birth certificate. The country is run by a corrupt Department of Justice, corrupt holder, corrupt judges, demand prosecution, criminal prosecution of all of them. And people need to start speaking up, make some signs and stand in front of the White House, in front of governor's mansions. File contests of each and every election and demand to see all of the ballots. Something else that I found out recently is that there is a program called, a company called Sequoia, and this is a company that manufactures voting machines and ballot counting machines. And what I found out that Sequoia was bought in 2005 by a company called Smartmatic, and that was just a front shell company which was run by a citizen of communist Venezuela, a guy by name Anthony Mujica, who also ran another company called Vista that is owned by the government of Venezuela, which means that all of our information, all of our voting records, our names, driver's licenses, addresses, Social Security numbers, today are in the hands of the communist dictator of Venezuela, and God knows how many backdoors, trapdoors were installed in this program, which are changing results of elections in the United States of America. It's just unthinkable. And even though they allowed that was, I think in 2007, there was an investigation, and this company, Smartmatic, sold its shares. But still, just the fact that the program was owned by them makes it compromised. God, you can't trust results of any election, starting from 2005.
So, why do you want to support the Constitution?
Why wouldn't any